okay, so we both saw the fight. For those of you that don't know, UFC 3, what was it? Was it 317?
Yeah.
Yeah, UFC 317 just came out.
Great.
We saw
great
that
event.
fight. Ilya Topuria
You
main
only
card.
saw the main, right?
Yeah, I only saw the main fight. You had mentioned the whole card was good, right?
Yeah, whole card was definitely probably the best one of the year for me, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, better than UFC 300? That was like
That
iconic.
wasn't this year.
Oh, you mean this year?
I think this year this was definitely the best one because there was O'Malley Marab, that was all right.
Yeah, there wasn't really much fights this year.
The Volk Diego Lopez one was good too, but this was like 6 fights in a row. Like the last 6 were like
straight bangers.
Yeah,
I believe
especially Joshua Van. I was telling you about small Asian dude, and he's a killer dude. It's fucking nonsense.
Dude, the main card was. I mean, like, to be honest with you, at this point, I don't really get that excited when I look at Ilya Topuria because I just feel like he's just gonna run through the whole fucking division. Like, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, no, he's scary. I wasn't a doubter because obviously I saw what he did to Volk and Max, whatever.
Destroyed.
But like, considering he was moving up a weight class and like knowing how Charles doesn't really Charles takes hits, but like he has that longevity in a fight usually. Like he can usually last multiple rounds. I just didn't expect him to go out like that. I thought it was going to be like a grappling match with him, and he was going to be working Ilya a little bit.
He's got crazy punching power.
Where Ilya would eventually win at the end, but I didn't think he would be taken out 2 minutes into the shit.
Yeah, no, it didn't make sense. Which, to be honest,
and that was a precise hook too. That was beautiful.
It was a nasty combo. No, to be honest, dude. Here's the thing too. Like, he literally said what he was going to do. He said, well, "I'm going to start off with striking. He's going to know how dangerous I am. He's going to try to grapple me. I'm going to win the grappling, and then once we get back on our feet, I'm going to go for the knockout."
He literally,
that's exactly what he did.
Said that Charles was gonna lay on the ground too, and just sit there waiting until the ref made him come back up and whatever. And I don't know if you saw it, their little pre-game interview when they were facing off when Ilya was apologizing in advance to him.
No, I didn't see the face off.
Yeah, he was like, "I'm sorry that this has to be you."
Nah, but you know what? It's crazy.
That nigga's cold.
It's crazy though because I was watching the vlog series and they were showing him.
I've been watching that too. Yeah.
And everyone's very cool with each other. No one has beef like that, and they just do it for the show.
Mm-hmm.
But my thing is Ilya. I mean, he's fought crazy fighters. 100%.
Mm-hmm.
But it's for me is Max Holloway, is Volkanovski, because Volkanovski was coming off of a long break. Max Holloway,
also a little bit older now.
Yeah, and Charles Oliveira. I mean, I'm not saying these guys are not in their prime.
I mean, they're not.
They're really great, but I just think I wanted to really fight a top dog, bro. It sucks that Islam went up.
That would have
been crazy.
A dog fight. That would have been
because Islam is right now undisputed. Literally, he is the best. Him going up a division, I have full confidence he's going to end up winning that title.
Yeah, that's
getting that championship
if they
belt.
Fight, that's the biggest fight in the company.
Yeah,
right now,
and they asked Ilya too, are you, do you think he's trying to move? Do you think his move was correlated to you moving up as well? And Ilya was like, no, he's not afraid of me. He just
said he's not afraid of him.
Yeah, he said he's not afraid of him. Because dude, Islam, that would have been a crazy fight to see. Because to me, Islam's in his prime. Islam's in his fucking prime right now. Yeah. But it's just but everyone else, I'm not saying they're not in their prime, but it just doesn't feel like they're they're not as young as Ilya. Ilya just got into the championship. This is his prime right now. Mm-hmm. So it's what other fighter is going to be able to contest him that's also in their prime? You have Paddy Pimblett.
I was gonna bring
Was it
up
Pimblett
Paddy.
or Timblett? I don't know.
Pimblett, who they faced off at the end.
Yeah, at the end.
And I feel like people are kind of undermining how good of a fight that would be. Because I feel like Paddy.
Paddy has an actual iron fucking chin.
He has a chin, but he's also young and he's very motivated.
Young, vibrant, very energetic.
Yeah, he's a character for sure. So I think he has a lot of pride in his work and wouldn't allow himself to be taken out so easily. Do I think Ilya wins? Probably, but I think that may be a decision type of fight, honestly.
It's crazy because I would hope Paddy doesn't go down that, but I want to see that fight so bad. Who else is in the division that's up against him? Oh, Arman? I think Arman, right?
Arman Sarukian or whatever.
Arman, yes, Sarukian.
I hear people talk about him all the time. I have never seen him fight.
People have a weird. I mean, I think he's a disgusting fighter, absolutely disgusting. But people were saying he dodged Islam because he was supposed to fight Islam. Islam fought the substitute submission, killed him in one fucking round. But it's with. Arman literally dodged Islam just to go up against fucking Ilya Topuria.
I'm gonna look up the division right now.
And that's potentially even more dangerous, in my opinion.
Oh, they still have Islam on there. Okay, so yeah, there's Arman, Justin Gaethje.
Yeah, but Justin Gaethje's done.
Yeah, I mean,
he's not doing this.
And Max beat Gaethje, and
no, that's what I'm saying. I feel like a lot of the fighters now. I'm not saying they're not the best in the they're still the best. in the world. But I just feel like none of them are in their prime.
Yeah,
right
the
now.
only one on there that's worth fighting that's at least in the top 15 would be Patty.
Patty and Arman.
And Arman, yes, because
They're the only ones I can
because
imagine that are going to fight up against Ilya. Because everyone else feels like, I'm not saying they're, by the way,
everyone's
like,
older, yeah.
I'm emphasizing here, these fighters, I'm not saying they're not in their prime, but they're not in their, well, they're still top fighters in the world. But I just don't think they're in their prime versus like Ilya, who's really in his fucking prime right now.
Because there's Dustin, he's retiring.
He's retiring.
And then
Gaethje's also not going to fight him.
Beneil Dariush, but he's old. He's like 36, and he was fighting yesterday.
Yeah, he's going to end up losing anyways.
He's not fighting Moicano. He's beating Michael Chandler. Like it would only be Arman and
it would only be Arman Patty Pimblett. And it's like he versus, but here's my issue too. What I don't like is that we sit here and we say he's like the undisputed champion. What I personally don't like is that he conquered 2 divisions or whatever. So he got his 1 championship, got to another one, which is this division.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if you're going to be a champion of a division to say that you're a multi-class like champion, you got to be able to defend the belt multiple times in that class.
Yeah.
Like he didn't do that once when he got his belt in the previous weight class. He just got the belt and moved up in weight.
He got the belt from Volk, I thought, and then fought Max.
Oh yeah,
because Max moved down.
Which is like, I think you got to have a bit more fights though, like at least 3. So he had 1 defense, which is like against Max Holloway, who's a really great fighter, but again,
who's number 1 in the division.
Number 1 in the division.
So he beat the 2 top niggas in the division, and then there was Diego Lopez, which would have been a solid. I mean, Diego's good, but
like I said, we don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like I'm not saying he didn't deserve the belt. What I'm saying is like I think they should definitely be required to have multiple title defenses before they can decide to move up in weight or go down in weight. And then he ends up going up in weight, so now he's in this division. Again, he's not, in my opinion, I can't say he's like the actual best in this division until he fights all the top ranking guys who want the belt. Like you can't say that. So it's like he has to fight Arman, he has to fight Patty Pimblett. After that, if he wins both of those, then I'm gonna say yes.
Then I was gonna say,
but then he has no defenses. But then who would he fight after that?
I feel
the rest
like
of the card's ass.
I feel like if he beats both Arman and Patty, then I feel like the Islam thing would just have to happen one way or another.
Yeah, it would have to happen.
But
Islam also has to beat.
Islam has
in
to
his
be
division.
The current guy.
Who's the current guy in his division?
He has like a weird name, some Australian dude.
Oh, who is it?
I think he's Australian or something. Jack Della Maddalena.
Okay, so but again, like I think Islam's gonna fight that guy, and then he's gonna be tempted to come back to just or meet in between, meet in the middle, or come back to Ilia Topuria to beat him. Dude, that would be a legacy.
I think if Islam beats that guy, he's just in welterweight for the time being. No.
I don't think he would be wanting to go down. I think he would want to get more fights underneath his belt so that he has more like experience with that. And then eventually they might make a title fight between him and Ilia Topuria because that would be a big fight.
I think if both of them win their next fight or 2, then it's
destined to fight
I think
each
that
other.
fight's inevitable in some way, shape, or form.
And it's like that. Well, but my thing is like even then, you know how many fights Islam's had? Like it's kind of absurd. I still like even if they fought each other, if Islam lost. That would be. They had to have a trilogy. It wouldn't be able to be like
that's
a one.
Like, yeah, that's.
It would have to be a trilogy. There's no way.
That's a super fight.
But I think but with like Islam though, dude, I just don't see Islam losing. He got knocked out once. I'm not saying it can't happen again because Ilya has clearly shown he will literally knock you the fuck out.
I don't know what is in that nigga's punches, bro. Like,
no, dude, no, he's got something different. Like he's knocked out people that have had chins that were like this, that were like unbreakable. And he's knocked them out.
Max being one of them. Max
being one of them. Charles being knocked out the way he was knocked out was crazy. He also went up against an opponent. I forgot his name. Killed him. There was one opponent. I forgot his name. It was this guy was like significant. He was significantly taller than Ilya on his grind up, and this was like one of Ilya's hardest fights. Like he was literally doing a number on Ilya, and he still knocked his ass out. Like I forgot who the fighter was.
Like he like just types in a fucking cheat code at a random point.
No, but you know what it is too? He like the way he lands combos, it's like a 3-piece combo every time. Like he'll go for the head, 1, 2, and then he'll like it's like you don't even know where his punches are coming from. Like I've seen him do 4-piece combos, and it's like it's either gonna go to your like head or your body, and then he'll do it in a 4-piece
But
manner.
The thing is with his punches, like you see people throw those types of punches all the time, but the difference is just his are so accurate.
Deadly.
Like they just never miss, at least that right.
It kind of reminds me of like Conor McGregor in his prime, because Conor McGregor wasn't like necessarily the most powerful puncher, but he was very fast and accurate, and so it's like he was able to get knockouts.
Precision.
His precision was disgusting. He was able to just get the nastiest combos. So I think that's like the same with Ilya, but Ilya literally does the same 4-piece combo and wins every time.
That nigga is so like scary. Like he just gets in the octagon and he's like a damn robot, just sitting there smiling. Like it doesn't look like the moment stuns him at all. Like,
I know it doesn't look like it at all.
He's really.
But also
really
too, I just feel like he needs to go up against someone like Paddy Pimblett, like Arman, who I think are.
He needs to go up against someone who's like hungry.
Yeah, like someone who's hungry and who's also up and coming.
Yeah.
So Paddy Pimblett's a good one. Arman, you could also say it's a good one. And then the same thing with Islam is like, I don't see a point in Islam fighting Ilya right now. It doesn't make sense. Like he has to go for the belt in his new division. After he gets that belt, then maybe he could decide on whether or not he wants to fight this guy or not. And it's like, even if you make that fight, I don't see it unless it was complete domination by one person. It has to be a trilogy.
Well, are you able to fight in 2 different divisions?
You're not able to hold 2 belts in the same time.
Well, I think the UFC gives you 2 belts. Like when you win, like I think they give you like a personal one.
No, that's his last belt. He just brought his last belt out.
Yeah, okay.
That's his last belt he won. But what I'm saying is, that's what I'm saying is like, I don't think I can view you as a champion unless you've had multiple title defenses in that division. So it's like but people will be like, oh no, as long as he beats a top guy, it's like, but for this division he's in,
I think
he's got to fight.
You got to fight like
he's got to fight the other people that are just as hungry though, because literally Paddy Pimblett, Arman, they might be able to do something. Like they might
fight
be able
at
to do
least
something.
like one other, at least one.
Yeah, because again, Charles Oliveira, I'm not saying he's not one of the deadliest men alive, but I just feel like Paddy Pimblett and Arman, those would be the fights to really kind of see if he is the best in that division.
Yeah.
After that, if he wants to move up as of right now, or Islam wants to go fight him by moving down, they can do so. You know, or maybe they meet in between. Like, which I don't think you can. I think you have to actually pick what division to fight.
Yeah,
in.
well, you have to.
Which for Islam,
it has to be one way or the other.
For Islam, why would he come down? There's zero reason to come down.
Especially if he's dominating that.
Yeah, if he starts dominating this new division, why would he come down?
Didn't he make it a point that like he just doesn't want to fight Bilal?
Yeah, but he's gonna have to regardless. He has to fight
what if Bilal gets another opportunity to get the belt?
From who? Islam? If Islam even wins the belt?
Yeah, like say Islam wins, Bilal has another fight, he wins 1 or 2 more, and then it's like he's in title position. It's like they have to fight.
Yeah, they would have to fight, yeah.
So I don't know.
Which, I mean, I think he's won. I think at this point, if he moved up in the division, he made that consideration, and I think he's already going to commit to it regardless. I don't think he's going to change up like that. And frankly, if I'm thinking about it now, dude, that would be like there's just so many good fights for Islam in this new division. I don't see a point in him ever wanting to fight Ilya. Like there's like Ilya,
unless Ilya's moving up, you're saying.
Yeah, in my head, Ilya has to move up. Ilya has to come to him because Islam. I'm saying Islam's a better fighter than Ilya.
Yeah, because
like his record,
Islam already did what he did in this division.
Yeah.
So now Ilya has to do the same.
And then if Ilya wants to come up against him, fighting at a heavier weight, he has to come up. I don't think there's no reason for Islam to come down.
Yeah.
He's already dominated that fucking division. Why would he come down to fight Ilya? Unless it was like a money fight. But even then, it's like you could tell with these fucking Dagestani motherfuckers that they do not fight for money, bro. It's just straight like just
love of the game.
Love of the game, reputation, honor, the love of the fight. So I don't see him ever coming down to fight Ilya. Ilya would have to step up. Because right now Islam is like he's that guy. He's the guy right now.
Yeah.
And that's why like even with and it's crazy too because you could argue that before his striking was pretty ass. Now he's like the most well-rounded fighter. Like he's actually
Islam you're talking about.
Yeah, Islam. Yeah. Like at one point his striking was okay.
I don't know. Ilya.
He's not like Khabib, dude. I think people forget. Khabib is he was obviously nasty. Like he got a hold of you. He was able to just squeeze you till you died.
Yeah.
But his striking was kind of like okay. It wasn't bad, but it was okay. And it got better too.
Yeah.
But with Islam, he's just more well put together. Like his kit, his arsenal is just a lot more stacked than
I feel like Ilya's pretty well rounded too though. Because he wasn't even a boxer initially. Like he wasn't a striker like that. Now the nigga's like the best striker in the game.
He's definitely that's what I'm saying. Ilya is also really good. But my thing is Islam, in my opinion, like I'm still picking Islam over Ilya. Like Ilya would be the underdog in that fight. He would have to be. Because Islam unless Islam got caught. That's the thing. It's like
I guess Ilya never really has to work on the ground like that. At least in his most recent fights. Because
Ilya went up against Charles. Charles is arguably one of the best grapplers as well. Like that's what he does. He'll grapple you till you die. But again, versus Islam, who's in his prime right now, it's a different level of grappling for sure. Like again, you can't argue that. Like he's not the same as Charles Oliveira. Like Islam's grappling is literally just
Islam goes out in there with the intent to kill. So
yeah, like give him the opening, he will squeeze you. And now imagine he's at a higher weight class now. So he's got more meat on his bones.
Bigger dude.
Imagine the pressure he's going to be able to generate now, dude. If he gets a hold of you.
Yeah, that'll be a good one.
It's like disgusting.
That'll be a good one.
So it's like, I don't know. And remember, every time you move up in weight, you kind of lose a lot of groundedness. So it's like you feel, because, I mean, you don't experience it because you're like taller and you hold more weight on you in general. But for shorter dudes, like in general, like when you're at a lower weight class, you just feel a lot more mobile, but also like you're more grounded at your feet. Like you feel you got more control.
You're saying when you're lighter?
It's not just lighter. It's like, I'm trying to say that you feel very grounded to the floor. So you feel very like, not just mobile. It's like,
but I'm saying you're saying this is when you weigh less.
When you weigh less, yeah. Like that's what I'm saying. For Ilya, I think Ilya's just like his movement and everything. It's advantageous for him to be at this current weight class. Like because I didn't even see his speed ever dip.
Yeah, I think his previous weight class he said was a bit tougher for him to maintain because that was like too low for him. But no, I could definitely understand that because when I lost like a lot of weight last year, going from like a 220 range to like almost like the 190s, like or like high, low 200s, like I could definitely feel the difference in just mobility.
You feel that difference,
nimbleness and stuff, like for sure.
But that's why honestly, dude, I'm thinking about it here. Like Ilya, actually, his current weight class now, I feel like is perfect for him.
Yeah.
So if he were to move up again, he's getting heavier, man. I'm not saying he can't handle it, but
what's the difference in weight? Is it like 10 pounds every class, or
I think it's like 10 pounds, maybe.
Gotcha.
I think I don't know. I don't know the difference in weight class for that. But regardless, it's like no matter. But every pound matters. That's the thing. It's like that's what we don't realize. Like every pound matters. So maybe he's able to generate. Actually, if he gets a bit heavier, maybe he's able to generate even more power in a punch. But maybe his speed's a bit slower. Maybe his reaction's a bit slower.
Yeah.
Like because you weigh heavier, and maybe he's not as mobile. Maybe he's slightly less mobile. And in a fight between two guys at their prime, like Islam and Ilya. Every fucking pound counts, dog.
Yeah.
Like, so it's like, that's why I'm curious to see what would even happen. I mean, I'm excited to see what happens with that. So that was a good fight overall. That was actually one of the best cards, I think, from your opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was one of the best main fights too. I mean, it wasn't like, I would prefer like a 5-round battle for sure. But like, I saw that coming, bro. It was complete domination.
The energy at the restaurant we were at last night, I was like the most electric it's been in a minute. It was, did you come to the John Jones fight?
No.
Well, it was comparable to that for sure, with how everyone was screaming and clapping and all that shit.
Yeah, no, I believe it.
No, good fight. Good fight. I would say like 8.5 out of 10, 9 out of 10 card.
Solid.
Great time.
All right, guys. So really, Shout Boys already know what's going on here with Netflix right now. Releasing another, what's it, the finale? It's like the last season of...
Last season,
yeah. They released last season of Squid Game. We didn't watch everything. We're going to talk about the first 2 episodes. So if you haven't seen the first 2 episodes, what are you doing? Spoilers alert, by the way. What's your thoughts, bro? Because I won't lie, these last 2 episodes, I got debated because I saw a Moist Critical video. I didn't watch it. I just saw a thumbnail of like him saying it's bad. So I was like, oh my God, there's no way they butchered it. So I went into it thinking like, this is going to be so ass. I started watching the first episode, then the second episode. Dude, oh my God. No, there's just so much. There's so many things to get into here. So like,
that was...
What's your initial impression? Give me your initial impression before we get into it.
I think that shit's absolute cinema, nigga. Because I'm thinking of season 2. I think this definitely... I know it's like a continuation of season 2, but I feel like in terms of how it's starting, since that foundation is already there, it's definitely a stronger start than season 2. But that second episode with the... How did episode 2 end? Just so I don't spoil you, since I'm on episode 3.
So the last thing that I saw was the mom and the son getting shot down. Yeah, so keep it to there.
Okay.
But basically the rebellion didn't work, right? Who's the main character again? I keep forgetting his name.
Gihan.
Yeah, Gihan. So the rebellion didn't work, right? Then they're dragging this like coffin back into the main central area, and then it's Gihan, and it's like, dude, no, the way, I won't lie. What was his name? The front man. Yeah. The way the front man is playing with Gihan is crazy, bro.
Mind games,
it's like
crazy.
Mental torture on a different level. Psychological warfare. And so the employees drag Gihan into the main area again. They open up the coffin. He's still alive. They drag him out. He's knocked out. Comes to, right? After a while. And he just...
Yeah,
he's so mentally done.
He's just broken. Yeah.
He's broken, a broken man completely. He goes to like intimidate these workers so they can shoot him down, and they have a direct order not to kill this guy. And he's begging to die. He's like, bro, kill me, like, because he feels responsible to a certain degree that everyone died for the rebellion. At least majority of people died,
which is understandable since he was the leader of that. Like,
he was trying to make it happen.
Yeah.
And so like he lost one of his best friends. Everyone else was getting cooked inside. Everyone was dying. He didn't even like, it was the crazy. I could not believe what I was watching.
Yeah, and then they put that nigga in timeout.
Yeah, they put him literally in handcuffs. Oh my god, dude! What killed me was like everyone, like the enemy team, was like, I'm laughing at him, making jokes,
thanking him for helping out their numbers,
and trying to like just intimidate him, like mess him up even more mentally. Literally, he just has to take all of it. And the shaman, oh my god, I hate the shaman so much, bro. She's such a
She has crazy plot armor. I'm not gonna lie.
She literally comes in and she's like, and then she starts talking to him like, these voices will never stop. You're gonna hear the screamings for the rest of your life.
Louder and louder.
Yeah, they're gonna be louder and louder. And then he just starts like, he grabs her by the neck. I was like, Gihan is not acting like himself right now, bro. And then she gets pushed away and she gets, she's good at that point. And then he's just there like just in his own filth, right? And then they tell him that a key factor in them losing the rebellion was also Daeho, who was like the guy who was saying he was a veteran, not bringing back the magazines for the guns.
He was lying about his background.
Dude, and then literally you see his face, you could just tell like he went from like he was already mad at himself, but then they had like a scene where
anger was redirected.
And then so I remember the scene was like they told him, and then he like looked like back and was just staring at him, bro. Was Daehoon?
Daeho, I think.
Daeho. He was looking at Daeho, and Daeho was just like trembling, bro. Like I was like, yo, this is I've never seen.
Well, no, he didn't notice him at first. I don't think.
Yeah, he didn't notice him at first,
but he was just munching on that potato, and the nigga was looking at him all night, and then that's the first thing he saw when he woke up.
Dude, he was just staring at it. It was like
and he had to do a double
intimidating. It was crazy. And they held a vote. And then everyone basically just voted yes to continue it. The pot is so much bigger now. And then we get to the next game. Was it Knives and Keys? Knives and Keys?
Well, it was hide and seek, but they were using...
Yeah, Knives and Keys. It was hide and seek, Knives and Keys. And this game was so malicious, bro. I won't lie.
This was comparable because I was going to do a video on the first 2 episodes myself. And I was saying that I feel like this game was comparable to like the Marble one from season 1.
I was about bringing that up, yeah.
Because like... A lot of the other games are like kind of team oriented, but I feel like with the Marble one and this one, like this is like where it's like you kill someone or like you're the one that's going. Like
you're the one that's dead. Yeah,
have to make that decision.
I agree.
And it felt like the stakes were very similar. But man, and just seeing Daeho like begging for someone to switch with him because he knew he was gonna be like targeted by this nigga.
He knew, dude. He was like,
just switch teams so bad. Dude, that shit was funny.
It was so bad, and it's like, dude. I mean. And again, a lot of this anger was being redirected, and really, it's everyone's fault to blame, really. But to kind of continue here, they all got their keys. You had the transgender lady. What was her name? I don't know her name. I forgot.
I remembered it yesterday, but I forgot.
Yeah, so we had that lady. We had the pregnant girl and the old mom and the mom. They were all like together. They were all like hiding.
They teamed up.
The son unfortunately, the son of the mom. He was on the other team. He was a killer, so he had to go kill. He had to go find and kill people, basically. And he's a soft guy. He doesn't have the balls to do it. Obviously, you had the main character Gihan. Is it
Gihan?
Gihan. Yeah. He's also on the opposite team as well. And literally throughout the entire time, Gihan's just searching for this dude.
Just auto luck, man.
He was auto luck on the. Oh my god, dude! He was after this.
He was moving like a fucking FNAF animatronic, bro. He just like had one mission. And then he almost killed that other guy who kind of looked like.
Daeho,
but then they had that standoff. Like in between the gap, you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
If I'm Gihan, I'm just jumping that shit.
No, he was
hungry for blood though.
So locked in on finding this guy, and you know what's crazy? It's like this is exactly what the front man wanted. He wanted him to really like redirect his anger and get like taken over by the Squid Games and just kind of.
He wanted to break him and like reform him into something he would never be.
He would never be, and bring him back to the fact that this is who he is. This is what was discovered before. So I'm here to remind you of how much of a fuck up you are. And also, the entire time you had the detective guys trying to figure out they lost a member. Remember, they're on the boat.
Yeah,
they're like, that's weird. We lost somebody, and now they're getting suspicious. And obviously, we find out the last season that the operator for the boat, he's working for the front man, and the front man just straight up says like, if they get any closer, kill all of them, including my brother. That's crazy. I was like, wow, he doesn't even care at that point. I never thought he did.
Which is confusing because I guess maybe he was just too afraid to kill him the first time. But he did, like when his brother had that standoff with him, he did shoot him like in the chest, and then he fell off the cliff. Like the boat dude didn't have to come pick him up since they're in cahoots.
Yeah, they're in cahoots.
So I don't know why he would. I guess maybe he's changed his mindset on it. I don't fucking know.
Also, a very good point. Yeah, I'm not even too sure where that's going to lead, but hopefully that unravels too. Because they definitely have to find this island. And then what? And then, of course, so the game starts. People are murdering each other. The ex-boyfriend of the girl who's pregnant, bro, he had like a complete mind shift. This man went from like, I'm just going to protect her, and then just kill someone because I have to so I can survive myself.
I mean...
Killed somebody and then immediately started changing.
I don't think that was it. I think he saw that they had an opportunity to take out as much of the competition as they can right now. So then in turn, obviously the pool would become bigger, but then there would be less opposition for her as well. And it would help them get through the game quicker. Like, I think he had her in mind.
I mean, I think you're right.
Especially in the end when he pulled up on her after she gave birth and then backstabbed the transgender girl, which was sad. That fucking sucked.
Oh my
God. He literally did that, and then he closed the door and said that there was no one in there. So he had her protection in mind.
Nah, he changed though. He changed a lot during that. Like I think he just became like genuinely more, because he was a bit shocked with the first kill. He was really trying to process it, and the other guy was like prompting him to like, no, this is a good thing.
That was definitely peer pressure. It was definitely peer pressure. I don't know why anyone would listen to that nigga.
Yeah, like I don't know why either. Maybe I don't know. Again, when you're in that moment though, that's what I'm saying. The Squid Game just puts human beings in the weirdest situations to either adapt or survive or kill or whatever.
It's a very complicated like psychological thing, because it's like if you take the killing out of it, like say everyone lives at the end of it, right? It's like the situations they're being put through, it's like both sides aren't necessarily wrong.
Yeah, like your hand, like at one point you're gonna be forced to play your hand, and you have to like,
yeah, it's like
you have to make a certain decision that might impact you, like mentally, that will completely change you.
It's not that both sides aren't wrong. It's just like you could see why both sides are acting the way they are. Like you could see both viewpoints. Like if you are on the people who want to continue playing the game and the people who don't want to continue playing the game, it's like some people are just in such a low spot that like this is their only means of like
but that's what I'm saying. This is like
out of it.
I think a part of the Squid Game too is also just showing like how disgusting human beings are, but we just don't want to admit it. Like you know, like we're greedy, we're lustful, and we don't at least. I think if you were to have a real Squid Game,
it's a spectrum. Like
I think if you were to have a real,
you see the spectrum with this show.
But I think people are not really willing to open up to things like this because they don't want to admit that they're just as bad. Like in the end, like think of it like this, right? With Squid Games in particular, all they're really doing is like, let's show who your true intentions are. Because if someone, for instance, let's just say, Thorfinn, if he was in Squid Games, he wouldn't kill anybody. Especially the guy who he is now, he would not kill anybody. So his intentions and his character would be, okay, he would just rather die than to have to take another life. But what happens though is, maybe his girl is in the Squid Games too, and he has to defend her against enemy people. Mm-hmm. Would he be willing to revert back and break his own morality?
I mean, it depends, because I feel like Thorfinn would. What are you talking about? This game specifically, the hide and seek game?
No, I'm saying like any game in general. Mm-hmm. I don't like if you take someone like an anime character like Thorfinn, right, who has reformed himself to no longer be a killer. You put his new reformed self into the Squid Game, and you put him in all these different situations. You have to ask yourself: would he just die living with his own morality, or would he revert back to who he was to save the people, or like
it would just depend.
That's what I'm saying. Like you don't know as human beings,
because it's just like, it's just a tough.
You get what I'm
saying? It's a tough moral dilemma, because like, do you look out for yourself or like other people who are also not looking out for other people? I don't know. It's just a fucked up situation.
No, imagine this, right? Imagine again. This is like crazy to think about. Imagine we're both in a room. Only one of us can get out.
Shit's gonna get ugly.
But it's like that's what I'm saying. And there's a gun and one bullet in the chamber, and someone's got to fucking die.
Dude,
that's what I'm saying. Like, what would we do? Like, as much as I would say, like, I wouldn't know. Unless I'm in the moment.
Because that's just like those are situations that don't happen.
Yeah, and you're never forced to make that decision. And so it's like, well, now you're primed to have to be in a situation where psychologically, you have to survive, but in terms of your morality, what are your values in life? And so it's like, me personally, even if let's just say I killed you, I wouldn't be able to live with myself for the rest of my life. Yeah. I'll probably end up killing myself anyways. So I'd probably be like, fuck, I'm going to kill myself here. There's no reason to. But then it's like, would I really do that though? Or would I be like would I become like, Gi-hun and just like lock in on your ass and just fucking no scope 360 your ass? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't know. You're a wild card, so you scare me, nigga.
But that's what I'm saying is like, how would you react? You can't say. That's like what's scary about the Squid Games. Is like,
I feel like in those situations, you try to find a solution to where it's like both people would make it out, or like as many parties make it out as possible, and then you just see that the odds are against you. So then it's just like.
But that's what I'm saying, dude. That's why, like, okay, so let's go into like Gi-hun. Gi-hun completely changed this episode. He was just the first two episodes. He was just so fixated on what was it, Dao? I won't say their name wrong. But
Daeho.
Yeah, Daeho. Yeah. He was so fixated on Daeho the whole time because you could tell that. Honestly, Gi-hun, like, he definitely is to blame for a lot of people dying in the rebellion. He's to blame because he's technically the one that prompted everyone to do it, and he could tell he felt guilty about it.
In the rebellion specifically, yeah. But like at the end of the day, they all chose to come to this.
They all chose to do it, yeah. So, yeah. But he's still blaming himself because maybe he's thinking, oh, maybe if we continued the game, there could have been another way out. And then now that he's shifted his anger towards someone else, it's like you see that like sometimes mentally speaking, man, it becomes you're so deep into it that you just switch up. And I've never seen him be like this. Like, he was always the type of guy to be like, I will not take a life unless I absolutely have to. Like the bad people, at least, trying to force them to become evil.
Because in season 1, he was just like ignorant, optimistic. About, like, just winning. Obviously, he saw the realities of the game. So then in season 2, he has that motivation and that hunger to stop it. And now he's just like,
fuck it.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Like,
and
it's never gonna stop. Like, I'm just.
And then he's so locked in. I swear to God, every scene they had Gi-hun in, he was not blinking. He was so locked in. And he had multiple instances where he could have killed other people to survive and just walk away. And then he meets the shaman. I hate the shaman so much. The shaman just loves baiting him, bro. He just like look. She's so annoying. It's crazy. And again, we'll talk about her demise too. Again, a lot of people died this episode. And so he sees her, ignores her, still is going after, obviously, the fucking veteran guy. And eventually he just comes in contact with him, bro. And the fight that ensued was crazy. It was like, first it was just him with the knife. And then it was, the guy also was able to get a knife himself. So now it was a knife on knife battle. And now it was just a punching out, like a fighting battle. And then the whole time, the front man just looking at him, sipping on his tequila. Like, I'm like, damn, dude. Like, this is exactly what he wanted. He wanted Gi-hun to be like, you're not above these people. You're not above anyone here. You're not above me. You're going to do exactly what I would have done. Like, that's what I feel like is kind of the message he's sending him. Is like, you're just like the rest of these insignificant, like, human beings that we all are. It's like, you'll fold just like everybody else.
At the end of the day, everyone's the same, for sure.
Him fighting, again, the veteran guy the whole time. They had multiple, physical fights. Then he gets to the end, the last fight with them, and then the way Gi-hun kills him, it was like this was not Gi-hun anymore. Man just fucking started.
That wasn't even like a quick swift thing. Like he
was choking this guy.
Yeah,
he was both hands, furious, gritting, just focused on him dying, and then he's just choking him out, and then he becomes lifeless towards the end of the buzzer. And I'm sitting there like, dude, I was so appalled by it. I just could not believe Gi-hun is this guy now. Like, I could tell he was getting to that point, but like to see him operate in this manner now.
Yeah, it was very foreign for sure.
Gi-hun out of everybody was crazy to me, right? And so
at least with that anger, like this wasn't like some self-defense shit. Like he wanted that nigga gone.
He wanted him gone. But the thing is too, I know it's gonna be traumatic for him afterwards because I know he's gonna be like, what was I thinking? It's not his fault. Like, it's not anybody's fault. It's like, and then he'll probably go back to blaming himself again. And he's be like, wait, I just took a life. Like, he's mentally done. He's clocked out. There's no reason.
And it's a tough situation for him too because he had to take a life given his team. Like, he had to do it.
Yeah, and he felt like, well, I might as well kill this guy because he let everyone down.
He's going to take him out. But at the same time, it's like he didn't even want to be there anymore anyway.
That's what I'm saying. So a guy that was so prompted to not kill anybody, a contestant. He did it before when he had to.
Yeah, I don't
But
see
then
it.
he was so prompted to not kill somebody as a contestant. He did it again.
I don't see this ending in a positive way at all.
It's not ending in a positive way. There's just no way.
Gihan.
And that was just his adventure. Then we go to a few other people. So remember that one silent kid that wasn't able to defend the emo chick?
He's a demon.
Absolute demon. The entire time, who was he looking for again?
The dude with the perk. Well, no, I think he was tweaking off.
He was tweaking off the perk
because he kept looking for her.
He kept looking for her. So he was
and
looking
then
for her the entire time.
He pulled up on the shaman, and then he was hallucinating as if it was the guy that he actually didn't like, and then he took her out.
Exactly. And so, yeah, basically. And so he met her. But the shaman is like baiting him. Like the shaman's so stupid. Like shaman's just baiting people to do whatever the hell she says. She also got like 5 people killed.
She's been getting away with that. It wasn't funny, but the way she went about it was like, she was like, my arm's guiding me here, and then we just see her run out the fucking door. And then it's just the crypto dude and whoever the other guy was.
Yeah, and they just start stabbing everybody. So the shaman ended up killing a lot of people unintentionally.
But I mean, she was yelling in the dude's face because she's gotten away with it this whole time.
Yeah, like no one's even dared to even question her.
No one's tested her because she's had her posse. So.
And so then she ends up dying because obviously the silent kid is like so he's tweaking so hard. He sees like he's envisioning that she's some other person, like yelling at him, insulting him, saying like, "Why couldn't you save the emo girl?" And then he just ends up killing her. And then you could tell he felt horrible about it. He was just like, "Oh my god!" Like he couldn't believe what was going on.
He started envisioning it was the girl that he just.
Yeah, he was tweaking so hard, dude. He was done. So then the shaman died, which. I'm not so mad the shaman died. I honestly fucked that bitch. Like I didn't like her in the story.
The way that she got done though, I didn't expect that to happen.
I didn't expect that to happen.
Old guy. That old guy, he's crafty, man.
He's crafty. They're all crafty little. I don't know.
He's a little rat.
And so that was his perspective. Then we go into the trio, the pregnant girl, the mother, and then the fucking transgender lady. And then, dude, I won't lie to you.
That like if we're talking about moral dilemma,
that was crazy.
That was like going back to the marble thing. The Indian dude and Sungwoo or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
That situation, that was one of the craziest like things I've ever seen where he baited him with the rocks. But like this,
no, with
just the girl giving birth at the same time, and just like everything was just back to back, and then. The transgender girl also getting stabbed, and then the son.
Well, the transgender girl, I want to talk about the action though with her.
She's an animal,
an absolute animal, right? Like she took on
she had the military background.
Yeah, she took on one guy, absolutely beat the fuck out of him, then killed him with a knife. And then she took on a second guy. Mm-hmm. She came out injured though, but she was able to like apprehend him, kill him as well. I won't lie, dude. In my opinion, it's weird because we were growing up in the transition of them adding more characters, more diverse characters, right? Mm-hmm. And like transgender people were starting to get more in the limelight now. Like they were putting them on the spotlight. And we were in the transition period where it felt very forced. Like I personally, when they add characters, not really in anime because they've been doing it for a while, cross-dressing transgender people.
Yeah, that's been a thing.
But like in live action shows, whenever I would see them do it during this transition period, sometimes it felt very forced. The characters were basically written very poorly. It's not like, oh, they're transgender, so by default, this movie's gonna be ass. It was like the way they wrote these transgender characters was very forced. They didn't develop them properly. So it came out like that. It was a weird transition period for them to kind of come in the cinema, come into the TV shows. Mm-hmm. And like, obviously you have people that don't like the idea of transgender people to begin with, right? Because they're so against it. But like this show, I think, alongside, I think newer shows coming out now, dude, it literally solidifies, like, it's probably... how we feel now is probably how people felt back then when you saw more black people kind of come into cinema, where people were like, "Oh, this is weird, this is awful," but then it's like eventually you realize that like they're all human beings.
Yeah.
So with this girl, it's literally fully exemplified, bro, because it shows that all you need is good writing. It doesn't matter if she's transgender or not. It's just good writing, good storytelling. That's it. She's a regular human being that you can build a good story off of. Low key, she was like the star of this episode, I think, personally. Like one of the stars for sure.
I thought when she found the exit that she was going to come back to either the pregnant girl dead or the mom dead or both of them dead. So seeing that turn around, I was not expecting her to get
so she ends up going, she beats both the guys. Second guy, she finishes. She goes back to the door where she left where she left both of them. And then literally she sees the baby. She's like smiling. And then the fucking ex-boyfriend of the pregnant girl just stabs this woman like in the back, like 25 times, bro. And then she just collapses. And the way they framed the scene, he couldn't see who was. If he had saw the pregnant girl was there, he wouldn't have done that. He would have been like, "Oh, I don't see anybody here." But like he literally didn't see the girl behind them, and so he just ended up stabbing this girl until she just died, dropped to the floor.
He didn't see the pregnant girl first?
I don't think so, bro, because she was covering the door. So he stabbed her when she was at the door, looking through.
Yeah.
So she was he was stabbing her, and then she drops to the floor, and then that's when he's like, "Oh my god." He sees her, the baby, and then the old lady, and then she realized that that's part of the trio they were in.
Yeah.
And then he was like, you could tell in his head, he was like, there was a bit of regret there, but you could. But then the pregnant girl sees him, and she was like completely distraught. That was like crazy. Dude, that was the most emotional scene because it was like he wouldn't have probably done it if she was in the room with them already.
Yeah,
he wouldn't have done it.
Yeah,
and then obviously he lets them go because the other guy's like, anyone else in there? And he's like, no, and then he closes the door, and then they're just there like crying, having to deal with the fact that like they're dead, and then bro, oh my god, bro. Then you have the last scenes with the son and the mother. The son hasn't killed anybody. The mother's with the pregnant girl, and they're obviously mourning the fact that their friend's dead in the room. The son finds them, and the son's like, I have to kill somebody. I have to kill somebody. And this is what I'm saying. You don't know how evil human beings are unless you put them to this brink of like self-destruction, right? So with him, he immediately just targets the pregnant girl and her baby. Like one of them's gonna die.
Well, I mean,
someone's gonna die.
Obviously, he's not gonna target his mom, though.
No, but that's what I'm saying is like when someone says, "Oh, I would never hurt a child. I would never hurt a woman. Even if I was pushed to, I would never lay my hands on them." It's like, would you really though? In a circumstance like this, like, would you ever break that like morality and like do such a heinous act to somebody else? In his situation, never kill anybody. His first kill was about to be a girl or maybe her baby. That's sickening to think about. But like that's the type of stuff that they have you thinking about the whole time.
I don't think he was gonna kill.
You don't think? But
at least the baby. I don't see why he would kill the baby. Obviously, like
that's a body technically. He was just he was supposed to kill people.
The baby wasn't considered like a player. Like the girl was considered a player.
But maybe the baby is a player because it's an extension of the mother. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. We don't know what would have happened if it went differently. That scene, we just don't know. We don't know. And so in that situation, he's like, okay, I'm gonna kill him. And then the mom's like, don't do it, son. Instead, take my life. And then now he's in a situation where morality speaking, he's like, I can't do this to my own mom. She birthed me. And so he said, Mom, move. And then he goes to kill the girl. What does the mom do?
And it's just in his situation, it's just so. That was like the toughest
decision, bro.
Moral dilemma because it's like he loses the game. Obviously, he's out, right? He kills his mom. It's like, yes, his mom has lived a long life. She was doing that for him so he could live a long life. But it's like then you have to live with the fact that you did that.
You killed your own mother.
And then it's like.
And the mother was such a good character because the mom, you could say there's evil people, but the mom literally was good the entire time. Like I'm thinking about her. She never really was like malicious. She always was like, if I have to die so you can live, let it happen. Like you could tell she was very loving
for her son.
For her son, which I don't think she killed anybody though, didn't she?
I mean, no one. Other than like,
she never really killed anybody. I don't think she maliciously acted either.
No one was killing niggas until this.
Well, technically, they were like, indirectly killing people.
Obviously, there are people like when the fork thing was going on.
Yeah, but they were indirectly killing people though. Like in the games, like I don't think she.
Not really.
Like for instance, like that one game where like, they all had to be in a room. You could take someone out of the room. Right? Like, I don't think she ever made a decision like that. Did she? I don't think she did.
Yeah, I mean, not too many made it. At least of the main cast, not too many.
But that's what I'm saying. Even in the end, she would choose for him to kill her than to kill a mother and a child, potentially. And so then what happens at that point? Mm-hmm. And then he goes to kill her. He goes to kill the pregnant lady or the newborn baby, whatever the fuck. And then the mom just stabs him in the back. Literally stabs him in the back, right? And you can't tell.
And no, what's crazy is as I said, I was rewatching it for the video. They foreshadowed this at the beginning of the game when she was talking about how like if she's in a cookie or in a pickle, then like she has the weapon on her hair that she'll use it if she has to. So then her ending up having to use that on the son was like crazy.
It was so crazy, bro. And the son. In the end, the son was like, screw it, I'm not going to kill you. And he didn't kill her. And he didn't kill the mom, right? Like, he could have probably done that, gone away with it. But he just said, nah, I'm just done. I'd rather just die now. And then he drops to the floor. The mom's, like, comforting him. And, like, what got me was, like, when the when the employees came and they saw them. And she was like, please let my son live. Please let him live. He needs help. Like, I was the one that hurt him. And then they killed them both.
Well, no, they didn't. The mom passed the game because she hid to the end.
Oh, really? I thought they killed them both.
Well, same with the pregnant girl because they were both in the room together.
Oh, I thought they killed them both.
All they had to do was either escape or just survive the timer.
No, but I thought you weren't able to hurt someone.
No, you weren't able. If you were on the red team, you weren't able to hurt your same team. That was a rule. But like with like the transgender girl,
so the mom's still up.
Yeah, there were no
rules
for the blue team really. Like if you wanted to get your hands on 2 knives and start eradicating the red team, you could.
That's crazy. Which people were definitely debating it. And honestly, so I didn't know she lived. Yeah, so she lived. So the mom's living, which is psychologically they're all done. Again, the girl lived with her baby, but she's psychologically done. And then we also had the North Korean defect, that girl, the employee, remember?
Oh, yeah, who's helping the other guy.
Yeah, so she killed basically everyone that was doing the surgeries to like get the bodies and sell their organs. Who was the guy? Is she connected to the guy that she was trying to help? Who was in the coffin? Who they were trying to kill?
From like the first episode of season 2.
I don't remember. It was such a long time ago.
When she was before she became an employee here, she was in the like the bunny suit,
the bunny
suit or something. Then she was like helping his daughter and just showing his daughter a good time.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, so she was helping. I remember him now.
And then she recognized him when he joined the game. I think the main idea of this is that money is the root of all evil. Really looking.
I don't think it's money. I think it's just like.
I mean, that's literally like the main objective of the game, and then like the VIPs and everything, like they're also rich and corrupt as well.
I think it's just like, oh yeah, money is definitely a contributing factor. I'm just thinking like we just haven't been. It's like things are so for people in life, you don't know what they're going through, and like you don't know what they're capable of. So it's like money's their way to solve their problems, quote unquote. But then it's like the idea of like even when they get the money, can they really solve their problems? Because they can solve all their financial problems, but everything else isn't solved. You can't fix everything with money. So it's like they think they can fix their life. They're risking everything for it.
They could fix their life outside of this game in the physical realm, sure, but then they're broken mentally, and spiritually,
exactly,
as individuals coming out of it. So it's just not worth it. Like it's not worth it at the end of the day, and you just have to just go day by day. And I don't know, but I was gonna ask, like, how do you think you would? Because you brought up the carousel game earlier when you were talking about the mom. How do you think you'd go about that? Like, say if you got in the room, 6 niggas are in the room, one of you has to get out. Do you think you're pushing them out? You're just
I literally can't answer that, bro. Like I'm not even trying to like sit and be like, oh, I can't. Like I'm not gonna lie and say, oh no, I'm not gonna partake in that, or I'll leave the room. I'll take the sacrifice. Like I don't know how I'd react.
I'd have to queue up like a quick rock, paper, scissors or something.
That's like my thing is like I just don't know how to react in those situations.
I couldn't see myself like spearing some nigga out of the room and just like,
unless it was a bad dude. Like if you
then you do it, then you're the bad dude.
Yeah, I know, but I'm also fully aware of the fact that like the only way you can like really. The only way you can really take care of like people. Here's the thing, right? It's like what's morality, right? What's the idea of like how do you have to stoop down to someone's level to be able to go up against them? I believe in that, honestly, just because like I think you can't really like, for instance, a killer, a guy who's trying to kill people. You can hail yourself as a hero for shooting that guy when he's already shooting other people, but you have to also stoop down to what he's doing. So you killed somebody. You can justify it in your head all you want. I saved lives. I'm a hero. Cops deal with this shit all the time, and they have to go through therapy for it. It's like, but you still took a life. So you basically stooped down to his level to take a life. Yeah. Not with ill intention, but you still took a life. Took away someone's like fire in their heart, right?
Yeah.
So it's like now look at it in terms of the game. I wouldn't be able to live with myself. I'd probably have to get therapy. But if I had to go up against a guy who was like evil, I would more than likely I would push them out.
I feel like that game specifically is like the trolley problem. Where it's like take out one to save however many, or you just take out everyone.
Yeah, and it's also like look at them more. Yeah, look at would you save the majority? Would you save like what's the plan there? Like, what's the goal there? And so it's like, well, how does that work? And it's just, dude, it's a lot of these are moral
and
dilemmas.
The way like because I don't feel like in the first season dudes are moving as maliciously as they are in this season.
No, 100%.
Like the niggas of this season are evil, and you'll see it in the next episode. I'm not gonna go into it, but the next game is like it's crazy.
Yeah, no, I'm excited
It's
for the next
crazy.
episode.
It's like actual. I'm just gonna say.
Demon Time.
I'm just gonna say spawn camping. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh my god.
And you'll see what I'm talking about.
No,
But
dude,
it's crazy.
I believe you though, bro, because it's like, how can you make?
Sorry. Like speaking of I just brought up the trolley problem. Gi-hun is in like a trolley problem, basically. That's all I'm gonna say.
I believe it.
At the end of episode 3.
There's no way to respond to someone asking you that too, though. It's like, what would you do in that situation? Like, because you really don't know.
And it's like answering it. I feel like you kind of feel like
it would be. I'd be giving you a half-ass answer.
yeah, but if you like answer it like whichever stance you choose, like you kind of feel immoral yourself, kind of.
We act like we're morally right, but your morally right could be morally wrong. So it's like
everyone has a different sense.
Exactly.
I think there's a general understanding of like what is good and what's bad.
No, but the thing is like there's that definition. A lot of this stuff is like people are religious.
Mm-hmm.
People are very religious, so they live by codes of books, Islam, whatever. But realistically, you could argue that no matter what, morality is always going to be like individualized per person, and it's like you could argue for everything that you think is right, someone will look at it and view it as wrong.
Yeah.
So it's like it's hard to judge people when you can't even be like, oh, if I was in his position, what would I do? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's why it's like hard for me to judge everyone. I can judge from a third perspective.
And you could see it to a degree with like the version that Mr. Beast did. Like, obviously they're not.
Oh yeah, people
were backstabbing
motherfuckers because they don't care.
And I was looking at, and obviously the stakes aren't as high as the real deal, but like I was looking at some of the moves they were making, I was like, that's kind of fucked up. Like I wouldn't do that.
It makes you think like who can you really trust? And that's why people have a hard time finding friends, bro. Because people are fake as hell out there. Like for instance, imagine we were in a game and it was like split or steal, and let's just say it was like $1 million.
That's an easy split.
Yeah, I'm easily splitting that. Like they're also my friend.
Because it's also like
if you
like say for some reason you just didn't like want the money, you could just like give me the money, vice versa. Like if we split it, like I feel like that's the safest option. Like why would I steal it? Because then it's like, yes, I have the money, but then I'm also showing you like that I don't really rock with you like that, and I don't feel like you deserve the shit.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's like I feel like that's
that's like your true intention. Is like if you were put in that situation, what would you do? And like I would at that point in that situation with that stake, I would know my answer. Like I'm splitting it. Like
and I've seen people do the split and steal, and they'll like steal, and then they'll just tell the other person like, "I'll give you this," but it's like, why?
But like why would you do that?
Split.
No, but you know what it is too. They say that because they feel bad afterwards that they were just exposed for their malicious intent. So they're like, I'll give it to you.
Well, with the split and steal thing, don't both of you have to agree to split? Isn't there a situation where no one gets the money?
Yeah, exactly. If both put steal, you don't get the money.
No one gets the money.
No one gets the money. If one person puts steal, one person puts share, then the person that steals takes all the money. But like I said,
it just depends on who you're paired up with. Because if I'm paired up with you, I'd be confident for the split.
Yeah.
But like if I'm paired up with like just a random ass person,
I would be nervous.
So then I'd probably just do steal, knowing that they're probably going to try and do steal.
Exactly.
So that no one gets
Nobody wins. And remember too, we can say that, but like until I'm in that situation, like true colors might not be able to show. But I feel like friends
I feel like
in
with
real
that
life,
specifically, I could 100% guarantee that I'd split that money.
yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is like no matter what, it would be it would be so out of the ordinary to have someone like us. Someone steal it, the other person doesn't take it, and then I don't offer it to you after. But why would I steal then offer you half after? That's because then you're thinking to yourself, I feel bad about it.
Well, then that would just mean you don't trust me to split.
Yeah, or that would mean that I wanted to steal it, but then I feel bad because I just potentially lost a friend. So let me give you half, which you look at me differently regardless. So it's like that's like a big thing. I don't know, man. That's why these games like they do such a good job of just showing how not irrational, man. It's just really like shows like what human beings are really capable of.
It shows like what people value more. Do you value your moral code and what you stand on, or do you value like for Squid Game specifically, it's like, do you value your life more, your moral code and what you stand on?
Yeah, clearly they've shown people fold.
There's also the money involved, but it's just like at the same time, it's like if you do prioritize your life, then does that mean if you go about it in the most passive way possible, like to try and get through the games without causing harm to others, like, are you necessarily a bad person just because you're protecting yourself? But then at the same time, you put yourself in this situation by signing up. It's like there's so many different
things that factor in here, and it's like also how you vote, how you want to approach the games. It's like everything. I wouldn't be able, if we were in a Squid Game, bro. I would not know what the fuck I would be doing at that point, and all my morals would be completely.
Yeah, we should do some shit with our chat. Just do like a mini Squid Game.
Squid Game.
Pot of money, and then like.
Who would do what, right?
And then loser gets like, instead of killing them, like we just jump them or something.
But you know what? The difference is though, is that when you have when you have people that are risking their lives to do it, that's a different story. It
adds like
Mr. Beast
that
games,
instinctual, primal, like.
With the Mr. Beast games, it really did show the worst in people.
I feel like that's the closest you get to it.
There was a lot more bad instances of like people really just backstabbing each other than there was good instances. But remember too, they weren't even fighting for their lives. So imagine if they were fighting for their lives, maybe Squid Games would be real. Like maybe people would actually do the things that they were doing.
I think if the Squid Game was a real thing and it was like under the government's nose and it was happening, I think it would go exactly how the show.
That's what I'm saying. I think it would go exactly as it was going.
Like if it was done to a T, like you cannot leave the island unless it's majority vote, like whatever. I think it would.
It depends on the people too.
It just depends. It depends. It depends on the roster you have, because that voting process may very well
be like the first game you're done, or like before the first game you can just vote yourself out. You're out.
Yeah, like I feel like for the most part, like if people did that first game, like the red light, green light, season 1. Oh, they did season 2 too. But if people did that first game and they saw like what happened, most people would go X in our world. But like then you may just have a bad group of people, and then it's like you're fucked. And it's just
exactly, and that messes up everything.
But don't they also like kind of handpick the people too?
Exactly. So they handpick people that.
So they get like a diverse group.
Yeah. So the group they get is not. It's literally anybody. So if you think about it, it's really people that just like have a lot of regrets,
massive amounts
of debt. People that feel like they're at the very bottom of the barrel. They pick them all up, and it makes sense why that's the case.
Yeah, because these guys are the most advantage of their situation.
Yeah, they're the most primed to like.
They have nothing to lose, so why would they?
And why would they, exactly?
And then it's like when they're in the game, they still have nothing to lose, and they have like everything to gain in their head. So it's just like,
maybe if you had people that were making like 6 figures a year and they have families, they're probably all not going to participate.
Yeah, that's going to be 100%. 100%.
It's probably not. Yeah, maybe a few might participate, but like not like. But then if you have people that, which the majority of people are not in that position, that's a very small percentage of people that really are making a lot of money in America. So everyone else is like basically living paycheck by paycheck. So if you were to grab those people, which is like over 50% easily, send them off to the races, and I think that's gonna be the same thing, same situation, bro.
I think the whole concept is like, as fucked up as it is, it's like a beautifully crafted show to kind of show like how we are as humans. Also,
growing up, like being in our mid-20s here, like I won't lie, human beings, I just can't be surprised by what people would do nowadays.
Yeah, it's just I'm a lot less. Surprise, as you said, like surprised.
I'm just not surprised anymore,
a lot
bro.
Of the shit that goes on.
Shit is
like
crazy as hell.
When you're younger, I feel like you view a lot of people as like they're definitely like mean people, not so great people, but you don't think anyone's necessarily like awful. Like everyone that you, at least from my perspective, like I never really thought anyone was like terrible unless they were killing niggas. But like I felt like everyone had the best intentions for the most part.
Yeah,
but like
you always were like that for a long time, by the way.
What?
I remember like growing up with you, like you've always been like that. Like you've always looked like the best version of people when you meet them.
I feel like I still do that.
Yeah, you know, I'm not saying like I'm saying you've probably been more aware of it now. But what I'm saying is like you were always like that. Like you were always like that. I'm like the opposite. At least nowadays, it's like I have the lowest expectations. That way, I'd rather be always surprised by your actions than to be like in a good way. So like, for instance, I would rather have the lowest expectations of you. That doesn't mean I look down on you. I'm just saying like when I go into a conversation with somebody, I'm cordial with them, normal with them, but I'll always have the lowest expectations as to what you could do to me. But then when you don't do that thing to me, I'm surprised by it in a good way. And if you do that, and if you do something bad to me, it's like, oh no, I wasn't really surprised.
Yeah, I mean,
that's how I go into stuff.
Yeah, I feel like I'm a better judge of character now. So like, if I'm just not feeling your vibe or like how you're coming off to me, then I'm just gonna separate myself, you know. But I also recognize, I feel like that a lot of people are going through their own things. So like if I'm like talking to someone and they snap on me for some reason, it's like
I don't judge them
they're
fully.
probably going through their.
Yeah, man. A lot of people be like,
because there are definitely times where like I'll be wanting to like just get angry at people, like if I'm just having a bad day, and I try to reserve it. So it's just like I know I could understand why some people just can't like contain that, and then just get like angry, or I don't know.
Well, I learned from it too, bro, is because I do sales, and like, but I've been doing it for a long ass time. So it's like, I kind of got the chance to see, I'm thankful for it because you learn a lot about people and interactions. One thing I saw, dude, I would remember there have been honestly a good amount of conversations I've had with people that were like, they were screaming, like belligerent, like mad as hell, furious, and they'd be taking it out on me. And then I would have like, it wouldn't work every time, but then I would have a conversation with them, and after the end, I would sell them. Like they would be like completely changed, switched up completely on me, and I would literally get them signed up or contracted or whatever. And it's like that made me realize that sometimes you catch people at a bad time. Like you catch people at the work. No, maybe their mom died, and I've actually heard that before. Like this woman lost her husband, and that's why she was so angry with me, because she was letting her anger out on somebody. And I was able to help her. Like this lady lost her daughter. I was like, we just had a conversation, and I helped her at the end of it. It's like, that's what I'm saying. Like, sometimes you don't realize where people are at, because a lot of people are not mentally, what's the word? They're not mentally prepared for things like this. And I mean, sometimes you just can't be, because it's a horrible thing that happened to you. But a lot of people don't have that mental fortitude. It kind of goes back to what I was having a conversation with a few friends of ours, Alvaro, Muhammad. And like, it kind of goes back to like the idea of, like, people who are at the very bottom, can they make it out of the bottom? And it's like, it is possible, but it's a very small percentile of people. So it's like when people come here and you're broke, you have nothing. I've seen success stories of people that have nothing to their name, can't even speak English, and now they're millionaires. But that doesn't apply to the large majority of people. Why? Because mentally speaking, not everyone has that mindset to get out of that situation. Or maybe if they do, they're physically stuck where they're at because things are happening in their life where it makes it seem like they can't get out.
Yeah.
So it's like, I can say that, oh, you can make it out, which is like, clearly the majority of people don't make it out. But then imagine you're the guy with like no arms, no legs, and you came to America. I don't know how the fuck you got to America, but you came to America not even speaking English. What can you do? But there's some guy out there with no arms, no legs, making money, living a life.
Yeah, that's what
with a wife. There's someone out there. So it's like, all you can really do is be like, okay, well, he made it out, so maybe I can. I'm a hopeful guy. I think you have to be hopeful about things.
You have to be. Yeah, you definitely have to be. I was going to say you have to be realistic too, but I would
rather be hopeful than realistic, because realistic is defined by everyone's perspective of you too.
I wouldn't even say that I'm the most realistic myself. I just kind of push,
yeah, man, bro, because it's like, and I get why people use the word realistic, because it's like, oh, you can't do this, and that. Like, because it's like, it's improbable for you to become successful in, let's just say, YouTube. Or it's improbable for you to be able to be successful in X, Y, and Z.
I was going to say, though, I feel like anything's like realistic.
Well, yeah, because once you obtain it, you realize this is realistic. But then you can't, but that's what I'm saying is like, imagine you're someone, and like I was having the conversation with them about this. It's like, same goes for this situation too. A lot of these people are at the bottom. So they're probably working 9-to-5 jobs and massive debt, have to live, they literally live paycheck to paycheck. They cannot spend their money on anything else to support themselves or their family. And what are they doing in their situation? Right? Like, are they able to make it out? I've seen success stories, absolutely. But the probability of it is still so low, because the big thing is mental. Like your brain, it's already been shown that we have limitations on ourselves, because mentally we give ourselves limitations on a lot of things. It's like with weights. Like they've done so many studies on this, whether it's weights, running, walking, like physical goals, or like anything like that. They have shown that we ourselves tend to limit ourselves mentally.
If you have that mental foundation, and just like, I feel like that strong visualization of you just like doing what you want to do. That's. I just feel like anything is obtainable. Obviously, if you're like 80 years old, you're not going to the fucking NBA type of thing. But like, if you really just want something, even though everyone's path is
so
and like some people are gonna have a super hard path, like coming from the bottom, as you said, no arms, no legs. But even people in those positions, like they can get to the top.
Made it out. People have made it out
to the top of.
Those we have one-off examples
where they want to be. But then it's like, for those people, when they do eventually get to that point, that makes it a lot more worthwhile
for
for them.
But the difference is too, remember, is like when you make it, you can now visually say this is, well, you can say in your head, this is realistic because I took all these steps and I got here. People that haven't made it yet, they don't know what steps to take half the time either. So it's like you have like the physical aspect, which is where you feel like physically you're stuck. There's a lot of people, again, are dealing with a lot of things. They got to live paycheck to paycheck, all this stuff.
Yeah, and
but then the mental aspect is like, if that's done, if you don't have that mental aspect, you're already cooked. Like you have no way out 100%. The probability is even lower now.
I feel like for me, you have to view it in a way where it's like the only person that at the end of the day that obviously you could like, people have mentors, like people have family, some people don't, some people do, and like external factors that like help them get to where they want to be. But at the end of the day, it's like literally you're the only one that is going to get you from point A to point B when it's all said and done. So it's like I feel like once you understand that mentally, if you like truthfully want something, then it's like, even if you have a tougher life situation than someone else, like you will by any means like get yourself at least halfway there, you know, like you can make progress. You will put your all into forward. It. And even if you get halfway into it and it takes like a long ass time, like that's a lot more progress than you had initially. And it's just like, I feel like that's the realization I have come to as of late, and that has helped me a lot.
And it's also,
and I feel like that would help a lot of people. And again, as I said, everyone's circumstances are different.
It's also like a way of being too. It's not like we spoke about a lot about like morality and like purpose from the last project. We spoke a lot about Finland Saga, and it touches on a lot of those things. But even like it's like a way of living. It's not like even a goal. Like you can have a goal, but we know that goals are very short term. Even if you have a long term goal, like I'll be a billionaire. A lot of times, and again, you could use that as like a motivation for you. But typically, when you hit a goal, people feel like they're just stopped at that point. Because it's like, what's after this? Then they have to make a new goal and make a new goal. It's like, it's really what it is, like a way of living for people, right? It's like just coming to terms with certain things about yourself and then just choosing how to live your life.
Yeah, so it's not like that's not something that happens overnight. Like,
yeah, you develop that. It takes time.
That's a practice that you have to like intentionally work on and build upon yourself and stuff like that.
And also, life is not even, you have to accept life in the sense of it's just not fair and it's bullshit. And frankly, everyone's dealt different cards. Like, and honestly, dude, that's why it's like I hate when rich people, like really rich people, the ones that are out of touch with reality, really, those guys, they're completely out of touch with reality. Like, what was her name? Yeah, was it? She's from The View.
Whoopi Goldberg. The black lady?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. She was saying like, you know, we had to work hard. Like that, she said like, oh, this generation's lazier. In my generation, we had to work hard. We were able to afford this. We were able to buy a house. We were able to do all that. And it's like, no, you don't get it.
It was a completely different time. I feel like, yes, they worked hard.
But it's very different now.
But their hard work had a return to it.
Like yes, it was possible to own a house.
A more instant and quicker return to it. Like if you worked hard, back then it's like, okay, you would be able to get a house by 24, 25.
Yeah, it was more probable.
Like as long as you lock in 18 to 25, you'll have a house.
Some guy did the numbers on it. He was saying like wage went up like 3x from when she was like in her prime back then. Owning a house, the mortgage payments went up by like 8x. And then also monthly utilities went up by like 4x. And like he was showing the differences. He's like, basically, because of all these increases in all aspects of life, back then it was possible for you to own a house, making pretty much minimum wage. Nowadays, not even close. You're not even close to owning a house ever. And even if you do, you're paying damn near like 11x the fucking pricing for having the minimum wage job, where minimum wage only went up by 3x. So he was saying some guys broke it down. It's like this math makes it very clear that we've been dealt tougher cards than the previous generation in that aspect. I'm not saying people
like we have
you have to survive.
Technology wise, like we have it easier in terms
of like dude, that's what I'm saying.
In terms of like communicating and networking, like it's a lot easier to meet people and stuff like that now.
Every generation has had struggles. And so, but you can't view things as like, oh, this is the previous generation. You have to view things in the now and like where you're at and how you can get better right now. Yeah, like, I don't think about like, oh, they had it easier back then and then like complain about it. It's like, I don't think about that. It's like, no, what can I do now in this current economy and my current lifestyle to improve it, adapt to it?
Because I literally had a customer yesterday. He was like, yeah, no, I didn't like the way my dad was treat me at 16. So I left the house at 18, went to the military 3 years, got a house 21.
Fuck, that's crazy.
And granted, I know going to the military, like, you get benefits and whatever.
Well, they get a good loan for a housing, but even then, but it's also more affordable back then.
Nigga, first house at 21. Are you kidding me?
It's crazy.
First house for me, I don't think it's coming to like 32. Like maybe even late. Like,
no, dude, it's not actually
later. Like, I don't.
It's not even your fault. But the crazy part is, like, people tend to also be very hard on themselves. Like, I've seen a lot of people that are like, want to own a house. I actually seen people get houses that hate it. They literally hate it. Mm-hmm. They messed up, and now they're stuck on literally a mortgage that has like a variable rate, where their mortgage like would go up by like $500, $600. Mm-hmm. So not only are they paying a mortgage, which turns out to be a little bit cheaper than rent, technically sometimes if that's even the case, then they also have to deal with utilities. They have to deal with yearly taxation on property taxes. If you get a house, you're not solely paying just mortgage. You're paying everything.
Yeah.
Water, electricity. Maintenance for the house, because you have to pay maintenance. Like, also insurance. You gotta have insurance. Furniture. And insurance is a scam.
Furniture, if you want to repaint.
Furniture. You have to pay all these things. You have to take into account. If you have a pool, there's maintenance. That's money as well. All these things you have to take into account when you buy a property. Mm-hmm. And so it's like people don't look at all that. And you saw so many people buy houses when COVID, like right after COVID. There was a COVID thing where it's like, we gotta buy a new house. Mm-hmm. So increases in foreclosures, they went up. People could no longer afford their housing. They had to sell it at losses. Even now, you're seeing properties are actually going down, by the way. There's a downward turn in properties.
Well, I was going to say, isn't the housing market, like, don't people like want it to crash? Isn't that
so right now it's going down. It's slow, but it's going down right now. There's a downturn. Again, I was looking at some data because I look into a lot of things with it. But there's some houses, especially in Florida. There was houses listing for like $1 million that went down to like 700,000. That just recently sold. And when you see the buyer who bought the house back in COVID era 2021, they were looking to actually sell the house for profit. They lost out on $300,000. Yes. Before they weren't even decreasing their prices as much as they were in a few years. Last few years,
it's just ridiculous how.
And 700,000 is still a lot for a house, by the way. And in our case, though, it's a lot cheaper for us to actually pay rent, because you actually can end up making more money in the long run by just renting, and then not having to deal with any other cost. And then also invest the money that you would have spent on other things. So like on that, when people did the calculations for it, you would spend like, no matter what, you would be spending way more money in terms of a yearly on a property you own versus a property you're just paying rent for.
When you rent, like, the price you're paying for that
is everything
monthly,
included.
It has everything included.
Everything included.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about anything else. You could actually use whatever money left over from the year that you make monthly anyways to invest into index funds, Roth IRA, bonds. You could stocks. You could take that money and invest it so that you could make higher percentages in the long run for again, like, make money through stocks, through other means. And like that will give you a better return on investment in your lifetime than buying a house right now. At least right now.
Yeah.
Right? If prices drop, which, dude, they have to drop even more, bro, because insurance is insane. Everything's insane. So I think
by the time, like, we are in a
by the time we're pushing 30, it's going to be ideal.
In a good financial position, I feel like it'll be a bit better.
We'll have a good opportunity to make a move like that. Although it's like renting is also getting cheaper too, which is good. But again, we're not at that point yet. We're just not at that point yet. And people are not buying houses, so it's whatever. But yeah, man, going back to the Squid Game thing, I just want to say, like, that really was like such a good first 2 episodes. Wow. We'll wrap things up with Squid Game in the next pod once we watch the last few.
Yeah, I'll definitely have it finished by then.
Yeah, we'll definitely have it finished by then, and then we'll wrap things up with Squid Game. So definitely stay tuned for that. But overall, guys, that's all we want to talk about. We definitely One Piece. I'll mention that next week because I feel like we haven't been caught up yet.
Yeah, we have to. I did hear the manga was good. I did kind of get spoiled a little bit. Nothing crazy.
You gotta stop.
Nothing crazy, but like it was just something someone said. But
okay. Well, I mean, either way,
the manga was going crazy.
We're gonna catch up on the manga. Not the manga, but like the show from One Piece next week, and also we'll do the My Anime list next week as well because I think summer literally starts this next week. I think.
Yeah. So we'll go into that next week.
Yeah, we'll do also the My Anime list, so we'll see what animes will be coming out this week, and then we'll pick. We have to pick like 2 animes, bro, that we watch that we can watch every week and talk about because I know there's a lot of anime coming out this summer.
Yakuza and Danadan.
Well, we can't. I mean, Dan is a given. We might as well just watch someone else as well.
We'll see. We'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it, though. But anyways, we hope you guys enjoyed here. Leave us a comment, like, subscribe, of course, as always. And we'll see y'all later.
Catch y'all.